Title: A Dog's Promise. Scene 1. The beginning of a friendship. Setting: a quiet neighborhood park in the early morning. Max, a golden retriever with a shiny coat and kind eyes, was sitting patiently by the bench where his owner, Sarah, was reading a book. The sun was rising, casting a golden glow over the park. Sarah had adopted Max from a shelter 2 years ago, and since then, they had been inseparable. Max wasn't just a pet. He was her best friend, her confidant, and her protector. One day, as they were walking home, Sarah slipped on a wet patch of grass and fell, hitting her head. Max immediately barked for help, running in circles around her until a passerby noticed and called an ambulance. From that day on, Max became even more protective of Sarah, always staying close to her side. Scene 2. The storm. Setting: Sarah's house during a thunderstorm. It was a dark and stormy night. The wind howled, and the rain poured heavily. Sarah was alone at home, feeling uneasy. Max, sensing her fear, stayed by her side, his warm body pressed against her legs. Suddenly, there was a loud crash outside. A tree had fallen, breaking a window in the living room. Max sprang into action. He barked loudly, alerting Sarah to the danger. When she went to inspect the damage, Max stood between her and the broken glass, refusing to let her get too close. He nudged her toward the phone, as if telling her to call for help. Sarah couldn't believe how intuitive Max was. Scene 3. The accident. Setting: a busy street in the city. A few months later, Sarah and Max were crossing the street when a speeding car lost control and veered toward them. Without thinking, Max lunged forward, pushing Sarah out of the way. The car hit Max instead, sending him tumbling to the side of the road. Sarah screamed, rushing to his side. Max was badly injured, but he was still alive. Tears streamed down Sarah's face as she held him, whispering, "You saved me, Max. You saved me." Scene 4. The recovery. Setting: a veterinary clinic. Max underwent surgery and spent weeks recovering at the vet clinic. Sarah visited him every day, bringing his favorite toys and treats. She refused to leave his side, just as he had always done for her. Slowly, but surely, Max began to heal. One day, the vet told Sarah that Max was ready to go home. Sarah was overjoyed. She hugged Max tightly, promising to take care of him just as he had taken care of her. Scene 5. A new beginning. Setting: Sarah's house. A few months later, Max was back to his old self, running around the yard and playing fetch with Sarah, but something had changed. Their bond was even stronger than before. Max had proven his loyalty and love in the most extraordinary way, and Sarah knew she would never take him for granted. As they sat together on the porch, watching the sunset, Sarah whispered, "You're not just a dog, Max. You're my hero." Max wagged his tail, resting his head on her lap. He didn't need words to express his love. His actions had already said it all.